is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We are here today for another sit down educational video. Like I said, I'm going to be going kind of back and forth between the education and then more like vlog, full day of eating style stuff. So I really hope that you guys are enjoying these. They might not get as many views, but I genuinely feel that they help the most people. So I'm going to keep making them, and I hope that those of you guys who do watch them really enjoy them. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sydney. I have my degree in nutrition. I have my personal training certification. I've been an online coach now for a few years, and I love to educate people, and I'm a nerd, and that's what we're gonna do here. So before we get into today's topic, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe below to support my channel. And with that being said, let's get into today's topic. What we're going to talk about today is the thing that you need to manage to see the progress that you want to see. So when it comes to seeing physical progress, so many people have their priorities in the wrong place. So many people are under fueling, overtraining, and under recovering, and they're just focused on all the wrong things. So that's what I want to get to in today's video, because if you actually take this to heart, I promise you will start to see better results. So that thing that many people are missing is managing their stressors. When we look at stress on the body, we can't just look at, oh, I'm stressed about money, oh, I'm stressed about work, I'm stressed about my boyfriend, my toxic relationship thing that's going on. We can't just look at that. That is a stressor. Those mental stressors and those life stressors, those absolutely are stressors, but we have to look at the big picture of managing stressors. And before I get into what all these stressors can be, why is this actually impacting your progress so much? So when we look at fat loss or body recomposition, improving body composition, improving health in general, we have to look at your internal health. If your internal health is not where it needs to be, the outside's going to show that. Can you make progress while you are stressed out? And yes, you can. Is it going to be as optimal? No. And if you're stuck, could be a very good reason why. So when we look at the stress response in the body, so basically your body senses a stressor, and your body goes through a stress response in response to that stressor. So basically what's going to happen is cortisol, which is your main stress hormone, is going to get released, and what that does is it pulls nutrients into the blood, because from like an evolutionary perspective, if your body sensed any kind of stress, it was like, oh, we need nutrients to deal with this, to fight whatever this is, or to run away from whatever it is. So your body needed those nutrients in the blood for quick use. So that's what your body does, even if it's just traffic. Cortisol is going to come, it's going to be released, brings nutrients into the blood. So in an exercise setting, that's great. We need those nutrients in the blood. That cortisol needs to be released. We need those nutrients. We utilize those. But the problem is, when our body does not utilize those nutrients, then what happens is those nutrients are just sitting in the blood. Blood sugar is elevated because there's more glucose in the blood. And then insulin has to come in, and it has to shove that down, because your body doesn't want to just be sitting there with extra glucose sitting there. So insulin's going to come in, and it's going to basically be released, and it's going to shove that back in. Hopefully some to the muscle tissue, but a lot of times, depending on the person, we're also going to see some of that be stored as fat, etc. So whenever we see constant stress, really what we're seeing is an insulin cortisol seesaw, and rather than actually digesting and utilizing nutrients, you're basically releasing and storing nutrients, and that is not an optimal state to be in. Constant insulin release is also not an optimal state to be in by any means. Then we can also start to develop like insensitivity or resistance to our own insulin, to where then we have to crank out more. It's just this awful negative feedback loop. Now, what I will say, when I say awful negative feedback loop, all your body's doing is trying to protect you. So technically it's our fault, it's our lifestyle, it's the way that we live. But in a sense of like fat loss and progress, it kind of sucks that it is that way. But regardless, that's the very first thing that we have to look at is understanding why that this actually matters, because it definitely does. Also, another thing that we're going to see with cortisol levels is as cortisol is staying elevated, so I talked about like the insulin situation, but Also, whenever cortisol is constantly staying elevated, we're also going to see downregulation of certain hormones. So like our thyroid hormones, those are going to get downregulated. We're going to see downregulation of some other hormones too, sometimes like testosterone. We can see other things too, like estrogen dominance start to occur. Now, that's not always going to be the case, because then there's also kind of the opposite side with like PCOS, which is more androgen dominance. But we can see a lot of times in just super stressed out people more estrogen dominance, because, well, number one, their digestion is probably crappy because of the high cortisol, so then estrogen isn't getting metabolized. But number two, it does take progesterone to create cortisol, so we can see cortisol start to like rob that progesterone, which can then lead to more estrogen dominance. So there's a lot of things going on here. Those are just a few of them, but definitely hormone dysregulation, more inflammation. So then with that inflammation, a lot of times we can see more gut issues and digestion issues, and gut health is essential for your internal health and honestly your physical progress, because gut health and digestion, if number one, if you're not digesting your foods well, you probably just feel uncomfortable, but you're also not getting those nutrients. So you're not even really, obviously if you're not getting the nutrients from your food, you're not being optimal. Also too, if we just are constantly having gut issues, like I said, it's very uncomfortable. It's causing a lot of inflammation on the body. A lot of things are getting out of the gut that aren't supposed to be creeping into our bloodstream. It causes a lot of issues. So now that you guys kind of have some of the background, what are some things to start doing to manage this? Because when we look at stressors, we cannot just look at, I'm stressed about money, my relationship, whatever. We have to look at the big picture, because there are so many stressors, and a lot of our society just has this low grade chronic inflammation that's causing all these issues, and it's making it so hard to see the changes that they want. So one thing to look at is going to be your exercise. So are you taking enough rest days? Are you actually letting your body recover? Because we don't progress from what we don't recover from. And if you are, say, in a more stressful time in your life, maybe you need to back off on your volume in the gym, because we have to look at all life stressors. Exercise can be a very good, healthy stress, but when overdone, it can become a negative stressor. So take your rest days, moderate your volume, and be smart with that. Are you eating enough food? A lot of people think that it's all about doing more exercise and eating less food, and that's so not the case. Do we use some calorie deficits sometimes? Obviously, to like see fat loss, yes, but you still need enough fuel. You don't just need to slash your calories all the way down to 1,000. That's not healthy or sustainable, and that's going to increase your cortisol levels and put a ton of stress on your body to be that low on calories. One tip though, because like obviously, yes, sometimes you're going to need to go into these deficits to see some fat loss and stuff. So a big thing of this is not constantly dieting, taking that time out of the deficits as well. And when you are in them, making sure that they're sustainable, you're taking it slow and steady, and you're not slashing your calories too low. That's going to be another big piece of this. Oops, what is that? That was like 10 notifications at once. Another thing that we can look at is going to be sleep. So are you sleeping enough and or good quality? Another big thing that a lot of people don't think about is what you're actually putting into your body in terms of food. So while I am all about balance, eat your cookie every now and then, have your packaged foods every now and then, a lot of our world is eating a ton of packaged foods with a ton of pro-inflammatory oils in them, and not enough real food with these healthy, so like such nutrient-dense foods and all these omega-3s and anti-inflammatory foods. And too many people are eating way too many of the pro-inflammatory foods. So watch what you're putting into your body. Maybe try to do less of like the packaged things with all those pro-inflammatory vegetable oils, which are going to be things like safflower, canola, sunflower. There's 3 other ones too. Can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but look out for those. And that's not me saying get them all out. I'm all about balance. That's something I'm actually very big on. But if most of your day is full of like these convenience foods with all these pro-inflammatory oils, that's a stressor to your body. Get more real food. Eat full fat yogurt. Eat avocados, nuts, grass-fed meats, and wild caught salmon, and all these things with these really, really good anti-inflammatory properties. Now, obviously, if you are trying to lose body fat and you're like moderating your calorie intake, you can fit those within your given macros or calories or whatever, but it's still really important. Real food comes first. What you're putting in really does make a difference there in terms of the inflammation response. Food can be a stress to the body. So that's one. Let's see. Oh, environmental stressors too. So, your water sources, your products. That's something I'm actually working on right now, is like my skincare products. I'm trying out some actually soon, so we'll keep you guys updated, because all of that is a stressor. Mental stress, so just stress management practices in general. A lot of our world is very go, go, go all the time. And we need to get more into that parasympathetic state because that's when we rest and digest. And if we're constantly in sympathetic state, then cortisol is constantly being pumped out, and it's just a really bad cycle if you want to see progress. So getting into that parasympathetic state as much as possible. Meditation's amazing. Journaling can be helpful. Breathing, just taking time to breathe. Deep belly breathing is awesome. Getting outside is amazing. Getting in nature, fresh air, moving your body just in general can be great, but this doesn't need to be excessive, intense, like cardio. It can be like, honestly, walking is one of the best things that you can do for insulin sensitivity, mental health, getting into a parasympathetic state, just some chill walking outside or whatever. All of these are great things. Now, exercising in a good amount can be a very healthy stress to the body if you're not overdoing it. There's so many things that can be stressors to the body, even things like being on your electronics too much, like so many things. So really, though, the big picture with what I'm talking about here is, you guys, stress management might be your missing piece. And when I say stress management, I don't just mean breathing and meditation, which are both, by the way, amazing things, but I also mean all of those other things that I talked about, all those stressors that sometimes we don't think of as stressors. A couple of other great things are going to be like infrared saunas are awesome for getting into parasympathetic states, warm baths, all these things that we can do. But big picture here is, don't let stress management slip, because if you are and you're constantly having this like low grade inflammation and stressors and your cortisol is constantly elevated, if you're not managing that, that is probably why you're not seeing progress. Outside of like your calories need to be where they need to be. You need to have a good exercise program, but stress management is the missing piece. I can't tell you how many times I've seen me work on stress management with a client and we drop like 5 pounds of water retention. Like, it's crazy. Or we actually start to finally lose body fat because, hey, we get hormones to a better place and their body's actually internally in a good place to do so. Your body doesn't want to lose fat if it thinks that you're stressed out. It wants to keep all of that energy for itself. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope that was helpful. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. We got a little bit nerdy today, which was fun. I always like that. So I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm going to keep touching on these topics. Basically, I'm just taking these from common questions that I get, common things that I see from like a coach's perspective. So I hope that y'all are enjoying them. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, STF, like my business, STF, we have spots open for our one-on-one coaching. We have a 12-week program. It's called Redefine Fit, weekly check-ins with your coach. You also get to walk through a 12-week educational course. It's the freaking bomb. We have changed so many lives with it. Link will be below for that. Link will also be below for First Form free shipping, because why not? I love their products and they're amazing. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.